Old habits die hard. That's right. Top don'ts for teachers today. Stay tuned because these are going to be helpful in helping you identify what you can avoid doing and improve your teaching. Right after this intro. Let's get started. Bow. Welcome back, Trailblazers. I'm now the ESL Trailblazer, episode 94. Remember, if you don't want to miss any video or any lesson idea or tip, you can sign up for the Fresh Enough Fridays newsletter in the link below. It will take you to the website nandis.eu where you can submit your email. Remember that this channel is for anybody who's trying to achieve fluency in English, or if you're a teacher looking to improve or ideas. And today is about improving the don'ts, top don'ts for teachers, things that we should avoid. And let's get started without further ado. First tip is this one. Don't play pointless games. I know it's tempting. We love games. Everybody loves games. And if we have younger students, they're going to be begging us for it. But we get into sometimes the habit of playing games just for the sake of it or wasting time. And that is a bad habit. And we need to break it because if we're just a little bit more... If we're a little bit more sensible and thoughtful in the game that we choose to play with our students, we can get so much more out of it than just wasting time and taking a chill on the desk and relaxing. Okay? So the idea there is to, first of all, minimize how many games you're playing. If you're playing too many, you know it. And the second thing is, which I feel is the more important tip that goes with this don't, is choose games where your students think it's all fun, but actually they're practicing their language and producing the language that you have taught or taught them recently or that they've learned recently, okay? So role play games, those usually work very good. I have some on my website that you can use. But it doesn't have to be role play. It can just be something that's just as much fun, but where students are producing language, and that is going to be incredibly valuable and good practice, and they're not even going to know about it, okay? Second don't is don't be the center of attention all the time. We're trained to stand in front of class and talk. And a lot of teachers remember the days when they were students and the way it was. Authority figure in front of the classroom, shouting out orders, giving instructions, and being the center of like all the knowledge coming from here, okay? It really inflates the ego and you get to think that you're in charge and you can do whatever you want and that you run the show. We gotta change our thinking about this. You can't be doing that because that is not effective teaching. Your students need to be in the center of the learning. And that means you gotta give them the tools for them to take charge of that learning and be productive and use that language as much as possible in the class. I'm talking about putting learning in your students' hands and you taking a step back as a teacher and just monitoring, assisting, and correcting and listening to the mistakes and the way that they're speaking and producing the language. That is your role in the classroom more than anything else. And if you're doing that, you're giving your students the best chance to improve as language learners, okay? So try to adapt some new approach in your classroom where you're putting your students in the action and allowing them to contribute more and participate more. And the time is going to fly by like this. You're going to be less exhausted and your students are going to learn more. So everybody wins in this situation. Everybody. So that's a big, big don't. Don't number 3, don't be afraid to say you don't know or you're not sure. There's effective strategies for this, but basically it's okay to say, that's a tough question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. I'll need to check it because I'm not sure. Any version of what I just said works because if you do it sincerely, your students are going to notice that and they're going to be okay with it. And there's no shame in not knowing something. You're not Google. You're not the internet. Besides, they have their smartphone in their pocket. They can check a definition if they really want to. The grammar point, again, some of those questions can be quite tricky and there's not always a very easy direct answer. So giving yourself an opportunity to reply to that question in the next lesson is fine, and there should be no shame. Okay? Next don't is don't just follow the course book. I'm a really strong believer in this one because I remember early in my career, a lot of schools were forcing the course book down our throats, literally. Like, the students wanted to finish the book, you were forced to finish it, and the school was telling you, you got to get it done because the test is going to be on this. Don't let them do it. Don't. Resist that temptation to just follow page by page, exercise by exercise, what is in that course book, because guess what, there's a lot less skill involved and a lot less growth in you as a teacher. You're not going to improve your teaching by doing that, and your students are going to get bored. That's the truth. So you got to spice it up. I used that word in the last episode with tips. You got to find a little bit to mix it up. And we have the internet now. It's a very useful tool if we use it appropriately to make our classes and our lessons more creative and spicing them up with something a little bit different than just following a book. Okay? Use your imagination. It really matters. Your students will, maybe they might resist a little bit, but in the end, they'll see the benefit, and so will you, because you'll get to improve as a teacher as well. So again, this one helps on both sides. Next don't is don't use a ready-made lesson from the internet. So I just told you to use the internet, but appropriately. There are way too many examples that I have seen in schools that I have worked at where teachers have to come up with lessons and they're going on the internet and they're finding a ready-made lesson, printing it out, photocopies, passing them out, ba-boom. Okay, let's go. Exercise 1, read, do the exercise, let's check. Okay, right, wrong, we're done. See you later. Bye-bye. Are you kidding me? That's not teaching. What are we talking about here? Don't go in that trap. If you fall into that trap, you're either overworked, or maybe you're losing your fire and your love for the job. Okay, or maybe the job is not for you. But you don't want to go down that path because that's not real teaching. And you're kind of taking a shortcut. You're checking out. And that's not cool. Not when there's people out there that are paying to improve and learn. And language, if you can spread the English language the way you know that you can, if you really put some effort into it, it's a beautiful thing when people are able to communicate and learn a second language. And you can give them that gift, but you gotta be able to sacrifice the shortcuts for something that's going to be more beneficial for your students. I think you know what I'm talking about. Those are my don'ts. A bonus, dress to impress, and this is connected to the bonus don't of don't wear shorts. Come on. Let's look a little bit professional. Let's look the part. Let our students believe that we are there because we are serious about what we're doing and not dressed like a hippie. I love the hippies. Don't get me wrong. Some of you are great. Some of you, most of you, I really enjoy meeting the hippie teachers out there. I don't want to go on a rant with this, but anyway, just look the part. Be professional. I think it matters, and your students will notice. I know that the informal trends are dropping more and more and more. We're getting more and more informal, but the way we look when we do our job matters in certain jobs, at least. So I hope you found those valuable. Thank you for your viewership. Share if you care. Subscribe. People might find this also helpful. Thank you, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Take care. Till then, see ya.